Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. Today we have Mandavi Goswami with us, and she's a second year PhD student, but it is not the start of research career of hers. She had explored so many continents, countries, and even in India, so many places she had been. So a brief about Mandavi. She has done her bachelor's in technology, BTech in biotechnology from UP Technical University, Lucknow. And post that, she went to CSIR NIST, CSIR NEST, Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala for project, following which she went to University of Hawaii for 6 months. Coming back, she joined as Master of Technology, MTech, in Integral University, Lucknow, for which she did her dissertation at IIT BHU, then joined MNIIT, Prayagraj, and now she is a second year PhD student at IIT Guwahati. So, with this brief introduction, we would like to welcome Mandavi at the platform.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
So, this conversation is probably going to be very enlightening for the young researcher who are considering to do PhD. And the reasons all the viewers will figure out in the due course of time now. So, Mandavi, when and how you decided that you wanted to be a researcher?
Yes, during my BTech, I decided I have to do research and PhD. So during our third year, BTech third year, we have to go for one training program, either from industry or from research institute. So in my third year BTech, I went to CSIR NIST for 3 months of training, and there I explored so many things. There I got people, students from various countries like Italy, Nigeria, and France who are in under exchange program. So I saw there and observed so many things like a culture of research. There is no foundation of day, night, and Sunday, Monday, and all, and there is no any kind of barrier, girls, boys, and all. And the peoples means lab mates and our supervisor are very good, very cooperative, and there I decided, yeah, I have to be here.
Sweet. That was a very early decision. And then what it took you, like all the route which you have taken, I gave a brief introduction. If you can share that all the steps, how that went. So after your bachelor's, you joined CSIR NIST, Thiruvananthapuram.
Yes, during my BTech I worked on bioethanol production from lignin cellulosic biomass, and after 3 months I came back to my institute, but there one a PhD scholar who is taking care of me in my research, she gave very good feedback to my mentor there, Professor Ashok Pandey. So
Mhm.
after when I came back, but we are in communication by mail and phone. So I asked him after BTech, I want to join the same lab, and he was agree with my performance, and he called me. So after BTech, I went there and start working on catalytic hydrolysis of lignocellulosic biomass for ethanol production. And after that 6 months of tenure, I got one paper, research paper in good
Mhm.
journal. And again, I start working there only in different projects, enzyme production, xylanase production from fungus. And during those days, I went for conference, international conference that is in GNU Delhi,
Mhm.
and we are working on that flask level and reactor level, but their professor came from foreign university, and they were saying they are working on ethanol and successfully they run vehicle of 10%, 20%, 30% blend with petroleum fuels. So I was discussing to my supervisor, sir, why we are working on bench scale, flask scale, and they are running. So my professor was saying our work is like only R&D. We cannot scale up to industry. There is need of involvement of industry only.
Yes.
Our work is R&D only, but for execution we need industry.
Mhm.
So after 1.5 year, I went to Hawaii, And there I saw totally different work culture. In CA Scientist, I got time limitation. We have to reach by 9 a.m. in morning, and up to 6 we have to there. And if we are taking leave, salary is will deducted and all that type of things. But when I went to Hawaii, I saw there is no time limitation, and I saw people are working, are discussing daily basis with their professor. They are taking lunch together. Professor is taking lunch with their students, and during that time they are discussing each and everything. I saw there they are working on aquaponics, and I request to give some work to me. So he offered me for oleogenous fungi, that is edible fungi. So I worked there for 6 months, and also they worked on anaerobic digestion, lignocellulosic biomass, and all. So I was very happy to see the environment like that. There is no any pressure to do. Means they are doing in their own way. There
Yes.
are no foundation which I saw in India. So after 6 months, I came to India and I joined masters. So
Mhm.
in masters, I went during my dissertation. I went to IIT BHU, and my supervisor was Professor R.S. Singh. And there I saw same culture like US. In IIT, there is no time foundation. When you want to come, when you want to go, they are just working on result oriented research.
Mhm.
So I just planning, okay, I will work if I get opportunity in IIT.
Mhm.
So but that time I didn't get anything. So
Mhm.
from there I went to MNIT Prayagraj as a ZRF. But as I told you, CSIR is not suited me
Mhm.
for time things. So like that, Prayagraj was also not that much, IIT and NIT having differences. And that time I got two opportunities from one from Israel and one from Taiwan, because I was continuously start searching if I get PhD from other country. So I got two confirmation from Israel and one from Taiwan, and I was just ready to, I have to go Israel. I prefer Israel because my interest in plants and agriculture kind of things, and
Mhm.
Israel is very good in agriculture and
Mhm.
technical farming. But that time happened, pandemic came, COVID has came, and I had a 12 months old baby. So that was very difficult for me. And during those days my supervisor was saying just come and come to lab and do this. But because of baby I was not comfortable to go to lab. So I decided I am not going to continue, and I just resigned from there and came back to my home. But
Mhm.
I was thinking continuously about research. And then I start working on mushroom cultivation at my home. I established one small laboratory for spawn production and mushroom cultivation. I constructed one mushroom house, and continuously 1 year I worked on mushroom cultivation. And
Mhm.
somehow my MTech dissertation supervisor, Professor R.S. Singh, discussed to Professor Bimal Katiyar about me, and Professor Katiyar was ready to take me as a project student. And that time he has one project related to Khasi Mandarin, self-life enhancement of Khasi Mandarin. So Professor R.S. Singh sir referred me here, and I came here. So before coming here, we have one video call with Professor Katyar, and I showed him my all setup and my mushroom house and all, and he was very happy.
Mhm.
So he promised me, you just come and I will provide you all facility related to your mushroom cultivation. So
Mhm.
I came here in IIT Guwahati and started working on Khasi Mandarin.
Mhm.
And meanwhile, Government of India, DBT, provide one scheme that named as Kisan Biotech Scheme. So
Mhm.
we wrote one proposal. Professor Bimal Katyar is very dynamic personality, and he is working on biodegradable plastics. So we worked together and thought what we have to write. So we planned. asked to sir, I have to work on mushroom only. So, and sir is having biodegradable polymers work. So, sir lab is not a single lab. It's a total ecosystem. It's
Mm-hmm.
a lab. It's an industry. We have a small pond for aquaponics. We have mushroom house. We have greenhouse, composting unit. We have so many facility. So we decided we are going to cultivate mushroom in biodegradable bags. Till
Mm-hmm.
now, everyone is cultivating mushroom in polypropylene bags, which
Mm-hmm.
is you know plastic pollution and
Yes.
all. So we wrote one proposal and cost was 1 crore per annum, and on performance basis it will going to extend. And
Mm-hmm.
in this March we are going to complete our 1 year of that project. And in that project, this is Kisan Biotech. So we have to hire 5 farmers,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to train these farmers how to cultivate mushroom and how to increase the shelf life of mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So I am the only person who is taking care of all 5 farmers and cultivating mushrooms in biodegradable bags, and also doing self life enhancement, because the project in which I joined here, that was self enhancement of Khasi Mandarin. So right now I'm taking care of 2 projects. One is Kisan Biotech and one is my own Khasi Mandarin self enhancement.
That is a
So
lot of work. Yes.
so the beauty of my lab is we are producing our own biodegradable bags
Mm-hmm.
using blown film extruder. For that, we are producing our own polymers, beads. We have our own blown film in units, our own polymer, monomer to polymer conversion reactor, and from polymer to seed kind of thing. So our lab is totally industry.
Mm-hmm.
And here I started my own startup, that
Mm-hmm.
is Biotech Private Limited. And for getting the Kisan Biotech project, I worked on 6 to 7 value addition of mushroom. So
Mm-hmm.
I prepared cookies, pickles, bread, cakes, health drink, and all.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I came in this research.
Research.
And
This is like something which not many researchers do. Becoming an entrepreneur so early in the PhD career. So normally, what is the route is people finish their PhD and then they start up something on the basis of the findings they have. And your project and the startup is totally different. So Biojagat Private Limited, congratulations for that first. And then the second part, like how do you manage to take care of the startup as well as your research, like helping the farmers and your PhD project? Because it sounds a lot.
yes, yes. Actually, the workplace where you are working is very important. What are the your colleagues, your friends, your mentor? And my mentor is very motivated person. Once you see him now, you can't stop or can't sit. Self motivation came after seeing him. So I when I'm not giving that much time, I'm leaving my home at 10 o'clock because I have a 4 year old baby. So I have to drop him school. And after 10, I will go to my lab. And from 10 to 10, I am working there. And I have one senior who is mm, mentoring me very in very good conditions. As I know, I told you my supervisor is Dean R&D, so he's also engaging in so many things. So we have meeting before 10 and after 5. So we all are discussing those in these time only. So we have plan like 2 person are going to collect our fruits and vegetables, and 2 are preparing solutions. It's a totally cooperation only.
Mhm.
And we have 5 farmers. So some work are they are doing, some I am doing. And Saturday Sunday we are planning to give training to local peoples. We are also going to train them, like we
Mhm.
are organizing a Kisan Mela kind of thing. So once in a month we are also going there and exploring them, how to cultivate mushroom and coating of fruits and vegetable for self-consumption. It's going smooth
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going with a well-planned manner.
So this is something which is very important for all the viewers and audience in here. So PhD, there are some things, as Mandavi just mentioned about planning, time management. These are the things which you just cannot rescue, like escape. Okay. So you have to be very well planned. And especially if you're working with more than one project, then you have to dedicate your time and timelines also, which you have to follow. The second thing, which is even more important, Mandavi clearly mentioned about the ecosystem of the lab. How is the lab environment? How cooperative they are and how supportive your mentor is. Because these are the things which have been seen and has brought up into our conversation multiple times. That sometimes the mentor might be the very brilliant one, but it is just about the conversation the student and mentor have. That one-to-one relationship might not be the best. So you always have to figure that out first, because you are going to spend at least 4 to 5 years in that lab with the person. There will be the times when the experiments will not be working, the troubleshooting, and that is the litmus test for any mentor and mentee relationship there, that how well you can cope up with that. Mandavi also figured out that the pressure of the performance or things should not be there, so that it doesn't affect the research. So Mandavi, coming back to this question, you mentioned about the places you worked and they were like always result oriented, because in research publication is the thing. You already have so many publications, around 20 if I'm right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So these many publications, some people struggle a lot. And even after their 5 year careers, not many of them have 20 publications. So if you can tell our viewers that how you managed to publish 20 papers, A, and then second, what was the key which you always started with, that was it the work which drove you to the publication, or it was publication first at the end and then you start picking up your projects?
No, the good thing is with me, I was also work in a project. So if you are working in a project, you have a particular reason where you have to work, and because of that I get this much of publication. Because when I was in CSIR NIST, so that project was about to finish and I joined for 6 months only. So before me, some researcher was working there, and she optimized all things. So optimization process took lots of time. So my first paper was because of that. One researcher worked a lot on that. So after that, I worked there. So I got good results because she optimized. So here, this is only collaborative work. And during my so in CSINist, I got two paper and both are first author, because I was working on catalytic hydrolysis of lignocellulosic biomass, and after 6 months I moved in another project that was enzymatic hydrolysis of lignocellulosic biomass. And when I came to my MTech, there was a restriction, means we have to write one review or book chapter. It is mandatory. So there I published one book chapter. And when I joined my BHU project work, so I was very good in microbiology. So, and that lab was chemical engineering laboratory. And there I worked in bioremediation of dye from textile industry. So there I was doing all microbiology works, and people belongs to chemical background was working on chemicals things. So I just doing inoculation, bioreactors and sampling kind of things, and people are working in another area. And for writing purpose, we just plan our draft, and for writing purpose means flag checking, grammar and all. some postdoctoral fellow was there. So it was totally collaborative work. So we have decided I have to do this part, I have to do this part, and we just did like this.
I think this is a very good lesson if all of us can follow that part also, because sometimes what happens is like you have a project and you are totally dedicated to it, not taking part in most of the lab, the other projects which are going in the lab, and this takes out the opportunity for you being author on the other project publications also. But when Mandavi, you were doing all of this, you went to University of Hawaii, you worked in IITs, NITs. So before deciding that you want to do a PhD, like as in bachelor's only, you decided that okay, you want to be in a research. But what was the reason which took you to the PhD?
Yes, when I decided I'm in an IT. When pandemic came, I just decided I'm not going to continue my PhD or R&D kind of things. But R&D research in my blood. I don't know how, but now it's my soul. So I didn't stop thinking about R&D and started mushroom cultivation. When I discussed to Professor Bimal Katyar, I want to do my own startup and I cannot stop working on mushroom. So he said, okay, you come here and start doing on mushroom. But before getting the Kisan Biotech project, I was engaged in Khasi Maintain project. I worked there for 8 months. So I was observing. I have to give presentation. I have to prepare report. I have to attend all meeting. So I was thinking, if I am doing all these things, so why I am not going to register for PhD? Because
Mhm.
for that I have to give one more extra thing is coursework.
Mhm.
So after 8 months, I decided and I said to sir, I want to register. Then sir was shocked. You don't want to join PhD because you suffered a lot, and you are saying I can't manage my family with these things. So I said, no, sir, if I am doing this much of things, so only coursework is there, so I can manage. So there only because of these presentation, report preparation, data presentation. So I was decided if I'm going to do this kind of thing, so it's better I have to do some extra things.
No,
And there I
yes, I think Manvi, this is very important for all the other researchers also, because if you had a bad time with a mentor or in a lab, that doesn't mean that you should give up on your dreams. As Manvi just mentioned, that she had some not so good experiences before because of what she was ready to give up on PhD, but the researchers kept that zeal always alive, and a researcher always brings you back, because this is something which we have said so many times on this platform, that once a researcher always a researcher. Even if you want to give up on research, researcher inside you will not let that happen, and that's exactly what has happened with Manvi too. So Manvi, maintaining family as you mentioned, with the baby and the pandemic, how was the researcher inside you, and what were the struggles at that time when nothing was working?
always enjoyed my researches.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing with me, if you are going to your bad time now, that is your good time because you are experience the most good thing. Because if you are going your bad situation, it built you, it make you stronger. And I knew, yeah, I'm going to like a diamond and a gold. So I never gave up and just keep doing. And that time my family was with me, my mother, father, brother, sister, and they support me a lot. They was taking care of my baby, myself, and my father and mother support me a lot. They said, you just enjoy your work, we are here for you, you need anything we will provide. They established one lab for me, they established one mushroom house for me. They were taking care of my baby. So behind me my family was there, so I was not working only for myself, I was working also for my family.
That
So
was
it,
that is
yes.
very humble, Manvi. That is very humble because this is something which comes up in all the conversations that family and friends are those support systems which keeps you going on when the things are not working, which is very frequently in research that sometimes you expect something else and the results are not exactly what you want. So, if you can share some stories about when the project is not going the way you want and how it affects the like work and life balance.
No, actually, I'm working on fruits and vegetables, so
Mhm,
it's not easy task. So we are mentally prepared. Yeah, we are not going to get result in one and two experiment in
mhm,
one or two batch. So we are planning like sometime we are going to plan for coating of oranges and capsicum, mushroom, and all, and simultaneously we planned for film
mhm,
because we are coating our fruits and vegetable using biopolymers, so we have to study parallelly for film. So we plan two things,
mhm,
one for fruits and vegetable and one for film
mhm,
study. So if and we are sure if one experiment will not success, second will definitely. So failure is there also,
mhm.
but one for our happiness, I also planned one experiment which will going to successful. So I never worried about, because during my project in Tirunanpuram, I suffered a lot for my results. So now failure of results not affect me anymore.
I think this is the best thing a researcher can achieve in their life. And at early stages of your PhD, if you got this, what we can see is a brilliant researcher coming out of this because most of the people who gave up on research or on PhD are because of the results and because of the disappointments it brings. And you already surpassed that. That is a very I believe that this is the achievement which people work towards in their research careers, and you have already attained it. So now nothing can stop you because that is the only thing which dishearten researcher, that the results are not going in their favor. So Mandavi, being an entrepreneur at early stage, pursuing PhD, what are the future plans or what have you aimed for?
Yes, I told you when I was in Thiruvananthapuram, we are working on lab scale and developed country using bioethanol as a fuel. So I was decided I'm not going to work like my research work should not be in thesis, research paper or report paper. My research will be in society.
Sweet.
So here, what I'm doing will come through my startup. So
Brilliant.
for future, I'm just going to bring all things in society for and in common man through my startup company. Right now, I'm working for self-time enhancement of Khasi Mountain. Khasi Mountain is the king of oranges.
Mhm,
And here in Northeast Guwahati, farmers facing so many crises, so many problems because of its self life. And now I'm working from last 2 years in Khasi Mountain. Generally, Khasi Mountain is spoiled in 10 days
mhm,
in ambient condition. And now we are able to improve their self life up to 30 days. And we are at ambient conditions.
mhm,
And we are the person who is tasting on ourselves.
mhm,
We are taking juices and oranges.
mhm,
Generally people are giving these things for cytotoxicity taste and
mhm,
some other taste, but we are consuming our fruits
mhm,
and we are alive. So I know for our industry people, why industrialists not opting research things directly from lab to industry, because
mhm,
of these things. But I have to take my own research to my startup.
Mhm.
So I'm not doing only for PhD. Actually,
Mhm.
I'm doing for my startup. So I after PhD I can take these for my company benefits.
Sweet. This is something which I believe that not lots of the researchers have to learn this from you, that it is well in advance, because what is the normal route is people find something very interesting, their results during the PhD, and after the PhD, that's when they think, okay, now we can actually compartmentalize on this and build a startup on that. You are just doing the opposite of it, making your own path, thinking that what you want to do, okay, now for that let's do PhD, incorporate everything, troubleshoot everything, make the technology ready, so that after your PhD you already have a running setup which is there, and it is commendable. Kudos to
Yes, yes, I filed patent on my formulation, so
you. Mhm.
that's good.
Great. And yeah, obviously, filing patent is something which now can reserve it for you. And also, if people are like, the commercialization of the patent will benefit you and the company. Now we are walking towards the end of the conversation. So, Manvi, as a researcher, when you feel that the things are not the way you want, okay, when there are always some downhills, which you all already mentioned, that you have passed that phase, that the projects are not working, but is there anything which still troubles you as a researcher?
So many things are there who travel so as a researchers, but I believe in third mm, means God.
Mm-hmm.
So I just leave all things on my God. I'm worship for God Shiva. So sometimes I just leave all things and stop, take leave from my job,
Mm-hmm.
and just taking rest and enjoying my family and my son. And after 2 or 3 days again I came back to my work, and also I discuss my all things to my supervisor, and my supervisor is very humble person,
Mm-hmm.
and always he take, just leave all things on your boss. Boss will take care. So when I depressed, when I think I'm not doing good, and some family reason, just I write to sir, sir, now I just want to leave all things on you.
Mm-hmm.
Then sir said, okay, go and take rest, and when you feel good, you just come and we discuss. And supervisor is supervisor. He have all way how to come out from problems. And my seniors are also good. I discussing to my seniors always. So they are taking care of my research.
Now, this is something which is very real and happens to mostly all of the researchers. I don't know of a researcher who have never felt the burnt out. So this is something which is real. And Mandavi just mentioned that taking time out for yourself, be, yeah, you can be with your family, with your kids, rejuvenate yourself, and then again come back. Because sometimes this is the point where most of the people don't know how to get rejuvenation. If you are sure about the things which makes you happy, because this is another thing which I at least tell to my friends or my acquaintances, anyone who are around me, I always say that do whatever makes you happy. And this is the mantra for everything. So either it be your research or it be your family, anything, whatever makes you happy, this rejuvenates you and all the negativity goes off. And if I'm correct, Mandavi, this is something how you rejuvenate every single time when you face those burnouts.
Sorry, sir. Please repeat once.
So whenever you feel those burnouts, that okay, now you need break, the family is that rejuvenation which helps you to go back to lab with a new attitude.
Yes, yes. Family and it's self motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time I am thinking about my mushroom, my khasi mandarin, and even I cannot stop more than 2 days because
Mm-hmm.
my oranges are my babies, so I
Mm-hmm.
have to take care of them. So you know, problems are not stable, they have to go. So research in my mind, family is also there, so self motivation is helpful for me.
That is, I think, something again. So we had this great conversation, Manvi, with you when we saw a self-motivated researcher who knows wherever the help lies and take all the helps. And just you just mentioned that problems has to go; they are not stable. For some people, it's like they are just standing there. So what are now at the end of the conversation, what we ask is, what are your opinion, your suggestion, or your guidance, because you have a long research career path which you have already walked through, to our young researchers, that what they should do when they feel stuck or when the problems or troubleshooting, how should they approach?
Actually, if you are planned for PhD or research, so you have to know your own interest, if you are interested or not. If you are interested, then you have to search a supervisor, a lab which is suitable for you. uh, if you are planning for research, so you should have some ideas what your interest, where you want to work. And institute is not that much important, your mentor is important, and the lab environment is important. And reading review, literature review is very important. Without literature you cannot survive in this. And the topic who which you are going to choose is also important. So actually, I being a biotechnologist, I can take molecular biology kind of things, but in my molecular biology results are not visible. So maximum researchers are getting frustrated because of this. Their research is not visible, but my research is visible. So one thing is this, and second, you have to keep reading. Observation is very mandatory, discussion is very necessary. You have to discuss. Sometimes I also observe so many places researchers are not discussing their research, they are thinking someone take their ideas. But Professor Ashok Pandey asked to us, your mind is your, no one take your ideas. Maybe they can take your objective, but the way which you are going to approach for your research, no one can solve that.
Absolutely.
So patience, observation, reading, your interest is very very important. Hard work, time, you have to give time. Means 24 hour you have to give, not physically but mentally. You have to think about your research, where you are going to improving, where are lacking. Sometimes we are not getting results due to failure of instruments.
Mm-hmm.
So being a researcher, you have also taken care of your lab responsibilities. So many researchers are not getting result or not publishing paper because instrument in their lab is not in good condition. So you have to take. Even during my BTech and after BTech, I learned how to optimize things, how to use pipette, how to balance, weighing balance and all. So these small things are very important for you. So first you give your time to learn small things, how to handle things, how to approach, how to essay. And even you have to watch your seniors how they are doing.
Yes.
And you, overconfidence will kill you.
True.
Don't be overconfident. You are here for learning, so you just learn. And a PhD is not very small things. PhD is going to change your name.
True.
This is that degree who is going to change your name, so you have to pay for this now. And only patience and time is required. So patience, hard work, time is very necessary.
Manvi, this was very enlightening for me personally, and I believe that our researchers, especially the one who are considering to do PhD, things which Manvi said, your passion is one thing, lab environment is the second thing, Okay. And the third thing is the observation, how your peers are doing, because when you join a lab, you don't know so many things, either it be instrument or the process, how they are doing. Observe them, learn from them. And even after your PhD, don't think that you know everything, because there is a lot to learn. So with this, we will thank Mandavi for this brilliant conversation with us. And this will, I'm sure, enlighten so many other researchers and will help them in their times when they are not getting, or then we're getting depressed and not getting what they want. And with this, we'll say to all the viewers, stay tuned for another episode of Researcher Celebrity. And again, once again, at the end, we will say all the good luck to the startup of Mandavi and the PhD also. Mandavi.
Yes, sir. And I'm also thankful to you and Empowering Science Foundation to conduct Research Celebrities series to share our research journey and motivate the upcoming researchers. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the kind words, Mandavi. It was pleasure having you at the platform. Good luck.